next keynote speaker is a circular economy and sharing economy expert. He believes that in 2030, it will already be a bit embarrassing to own things. He was a key player in the team that facilitated the birth of the Finnish roadmap to circular economy 2016 until 2025. And he's going to take us to Fast Track with a band called Grupo Gale. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Daniel Kaufmann.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. What a pleasure to be here and meet all these people, hear all these inspirational talks. I don't know if my motto got you curious. Why being embarrassing to own things? I'll put it that way. Think about, instead of owning a car and owning a fridge, why wouldn't you just go from place A to B when you want to and have always cold drinks? Isn't that better? Okay. As a teaser, I'm going to start and give you 3 arguments. First of all, let's see, I might have to switch to this one. First of all, circular economy is a growth opportunity for companies and a way to better attract investments and future talents. How about the second one? Greenhouse gases and the current resource scarcity are a symptom of not having implemented a circular economy. You might challenge this later, but let's see. And thirdly, Finland aims to create a forerunner circular economy home market in order to speed up domestic references and gain an edge on the competitors, like Sweden. No, I didn't really say that. Okay, here's the menu of the afternoon. So, for starters, I'm gonna go through a little bit of my background, explain the context I come from, so you understand why I gave you those 3 points. And for the mains, naturally, we'll dig into the key points deeper. So look at the potential. Why benefit for companies? Why greenhouse gas emission cuts and so on? And then thirdly, look at how we can do it. What's been going on? What are current actions? What's upcoming? For dessert, I'll reflect a bit on what's coming up and kind of summarize the whole thing. So, does that sound right? Let's get going. Just a little background. Why circular economy? I think the short answer is that there's too much waste. And if we look a bit closer, we all know the big story, so we can't continue producing more and more stuff and using more and more materials. That's not an option. Pretty interesting. If you look at Europe, for example, take any material, and in average, that material is used once. That's pretty astonishing. A classic example is cars. There's even some kind of interesting research that car is the most stupid investment of a modern individual. And if you think about it, sure, you don't use it a lot. 8% of the time you use it. And when you use it, it's mainly you and maybe someone else, so you're not using the full capacity of the car. And then, when you don't use it, it's sitting there in the parking lot and you're paying €2 per hour for it. So, and it gets worse. We all know how much the value drops with time and so on. So, it's not a great investment, and there's a lot of waste in that sense. Okay, I won't go deeper into these, but just to give you examples. Okay, what is circular economy then? It's a broad concept, as we know. Usually it seems to cover bioeconomy or parts of bioeconomy, parts of sharing economy, clean tech, and so on. So it's kind of like an umbrella term. And that also makes it tough. What I like to think is the waste point of view is pretty good to explain, or have the essence of it. So it's about eliminating waste, and not only waste as in jäte in Finnish, but more like hukka. So not the stuff that goes to the landfill, but waste in processes, in not only materials, but interactions and services. An example here could be, think about, I want to go from place A to B, and instead of ordering a taxi that comes from another place to place A and take me to place B, and I pay for it, if I could look around, there might be 2 more people who want to go to place B as well, or the other one goes to place C, which is after place B. And then if I look around more, I might see that, okay, there's a bunch of cars driving around, going my path, and they're anyway going towards point A, point B, and C. So if you have the, I don't know, digital platforms, solutions like that to make it easy and user-friendly, there is no sense in the current model. So that's the thinking behind the waste point of view. And this example was kind of access over ownership points. And I think that in the future, underutilized assets will be a part of the past. We won't have that anymore. We can't afford to have underutilized assets. Okay. So what's this all about? What do we aim at with circular economy? Of course, saving the world. Well, not really, but still, we have to decouple the well-being and economic growth from the overuse of resources. That's the basic problem we have. And I think that circular economy here is a means to an end. It's one way to do that. And there might be other approaches too. And I don't want to get jealous between the isms. What is what? The objectives are the ones that make it matter. And here's a quick picture of how it should be, ideally. So we have well-being growing over time. The economy is growing over time, but the use of resources is declining. So this is the big vision we're working with. And of course, new technology, digitalization brings a big chance to this. And Finland, we'll go deeper into this later, but Finland is in a great role, in a great position to kind of solve these problems first here, and then export the knowledge and solve the problems all over the world. How many of you know Sitra? Does it ring a bell? Raise a hand. Quite many. How many of you know Sitra in the context of circular economy? A bit less. All right, but I will not spend that much time on Sitra then. I'm not going to ask how many know me, because that would be a bit embarrassing for me. In summary, Sitra is independent think and do tank. And that vision is that Finland will succeed as a pioneer of sustainable well-being. And I'll show you a quick video about Sitra, circular economy, and Finland, so you get a bit better picture of what's going on.
Finland is a small and agile nation, therefore it's a great testing ground for getting massive new ideas. A year ago, we here at the Finnish Innovation Fund Sitra put together a roadmap. It's first of its kind and it looks like this. Yes, the map's a circle, because it's a map to almost infinite opportunities, a map to a circular economy. In 1 year, it has led us to discover sustainable innovations in all sorts of places and industries in Finland. Have a look. We have entrepreneurs who turn rags and worn clothes into fancy new garments. We are introduced to new vegan food innovations all the time, and several restaurants serve gourmet dinners made out of waste food. Then there is this guy who thought, hey, I'm gonna sell light, and actually made it work. It's called Lighting as a Service, and it's based on the same business idea as shared cars. We also have those in Finland. But it's not only small business owners who are getting it here in Finland. Heavy industries in the Arctic are closing the loop on millions of tons of raw material. This is now being replicated all over the country. For the World Circular Economy Forum 2017, Sitra gathered the most recognized experts and decision makers from 100 countries around the same table. It was a large table, I assure you. And the greatest change is yet to come. At Sitra, we're on a mission to train half of Finnish teenagers to become circular economy natives. Yep, we just made up that word. Feel free to copy it. And please have the map too. Really, we insist. It's a freebie worth billions, and that's not even a lie. Even though we Finns are a crazy bunch, we are honest. Like officially. Future is made together.
All right, that was my colleague Ernesto from Sitra. He was the wizard behind World Circular Economy Forum, basically the program and content. And I'll talk about that in a bit too. Myself, I work at Sitra. I'm mainly responsible for the company, for the project we do with companies related to circular economy. And what that means in practice, I generate, let's say, co-create, as a trendy word. So I generate project with partners, do ideas and project charters. We finance projects, and then I'm also part of executing them. So that's the think and do tank. Not only thinking, but doing also. I've been in Sitra now half a year, and my background is in management consulting. All right, but that's enough of me. Let's go to the beef of the presentation and the main course. So I just presented you the key arguments a while ago, and now I want to go deeper into this, kind of justify this a bit and tell the status of what's going on in these areas. In the video, Ernesto mentioned the roadmap that we did 1 year ago for circular economy of Finland, and it can be summarized in the ambition of becoming a forerunner or world leader in circular economy in less than 10 years. And the ambition is to have a business point of view, so exports and growth, and also a very strong domestic market. And the way forward is kind of rapid action, risk-taking and fast movement, and then on side of that, longer strategic initiatives. And the objectives, of course, we want to benefit the environment, the economy, the society, but if you think of it, it can be summarized as we want to minimize the ecological footprint of Finland, but we want to maximize the handprint saying, let's say, the impact Finnish companies have globally on the environment. So we're after a systemic change and the decoupling I talked about earlier. Okay, let's take one step back. How was it done? How was the roadmap process done? It was published 1 year ago, more or less, and it was a process of 6 months, about huge amount of top experts from CEOs from listed companies, from startups, politicians, government officials, NGOs, researchers, are all taking part in the process. And the result, the first kind of action plan had 66 actions, so to say, ranging from larger legislative changes to smaller pilots. And Sitra is working on some of these, and then other entities are working on some more. So, and this was just a starting point, and there's more and more to come. This one is just giving you the essence of the process and the kind of the atmosphere. So people really strongly stated that we don't want to create a very high-level strategy and then have it put in the cupboard afterwards and keep on doing the same things, maybe with a different name and a different funding. So instead, the focus was on very concrete action and kind of like a risk-taking attitude, that we don't want to like look too much around and play it safe, but why not just go big and make some things happen? And I'm trying to do this myself, and we are on a path with this. Of course, there's always somebody lagging behind, but this is the ambition we're looking at. Okay, let's move towards the potential I talked about. So it's globally unique roadmap. There's the commitment of the Finnish government. And about the benefits, there are estimates that circular economy could create 75,000 jobs in Finland. Okay, I'm not going to go into this, but as we know, these estimations are tough. Some jobs we are losing, some are coming new. The point is that we have to renew our society and economic structure in order to keep in pace. This is really huge. Circular economy enables up to 6%, depending on studies, greenhouse emission cuts in different sectors. For example, the most promising ones are probably food system, food production, construction, electronics, packaging, plastics. The list goes on. Then the euros. It's estimated that the added value yearly potential could be 3 billion euros for Finland in the next 10 years. I'll go into that a bit deeper. And of course, the consultant said that this is a very moderate estimation, but I guess they always kind of say that. Okay, there's a lot of text. I won't go too deep into this, but the point is that the potential is huge. The strategies vary a bit. And if you look at more incremental changes and taking materials, having a longer life cycle with them, it's usually around up to 20% that we're talking about. And then if we go more to the 60%, it's usually talking about kind of a new system. You replace the old system with maybe digital platforms and so on. So it really depends on what you look at. But the key message is that the potential is huge, and we're already seeing that in many examples. Okay. About the euros, here's a study from Sitra and McKinsey, and this breaks in a bit into sectors, the value potential. So please have a look at the study if you're more interested. I won't go that deep into it here, but in the study, if you're working in construction, for example, it will break into that 255 million and see where it's coming from, which part of the value chain have most potential. So if you just Google circular economy, Sitra, McKinsey, you'll find this study. Okay, are we still alive? Please have a look to your left, to your right. Is anybody sleeping? If it is, raise your hand and I'll start singing or continue in Spanish. Looks all right. It's good. Okay, a few more examples. If you look at other countries, Finland really differentiates by two things. We have a very holistic view on circular economy and also a very strong commitment to it. And the second thing is that there's a lot of actions going on already. It's not just big talk, plans and branding. And for example, Japan is very strong in recycling and kind of waste collection and material efficiency, but it's not very holistic in its approach. Or Germany is more focused on energy and resource efficiency, but it's not really looking into the other aspects of circular economy. Well, this is the best news, of course. Being an industry summit, I'm happy to tell you that the Finnish companies are already attacking the business potential of circular economy, and there's a lot of proof from it. Of course, we all know our big energy giants, Gasum, Fortum, Neste, Fortum having bought also Ecochem. They really have integrated circular economy in their strategy, and they're moving that way. Of course, we have the stories like UPM, who have been through a huge transformation to a or bioeconomy company. Maybe I'll share another example. Valtra, gearbox or tractor manufacturer from Finland. They sell these days remanufactured gearboxes. And the nice part is it's really been a commercial hit, a big success. It uses 85% less energy compared to the new one, and the performance is literally the same. So that's a great example. And if you see the rainbow in the middle, that's a Sitra compilation of case studies of circular economy. There's now 60 cases, and hopefully by the end of the year we'll have around 100 cases. So kiertotalouden kiinnostavimmat or most interesting companies of circular economy. You can check that out as well for inspiration. A few examples more. I'm not going to go through these, but I think it's very intriguing that the investors are also in the game. So Taaleri, a Finnish fund, is looking at the second round of circular economy fund. The first fund was, I think, 40 million in size, and it's been invested now, and they're looking at round 2. Then we got guys from the US and UK, so venture capital funds, Kinetic Ventures, and Circularity Capital coming to Finland and saying, hey, wow, guys, you're doing a great job here. We would like to have a 200 million euro fund and have Finland as one target market. And of course, they're also looking for Finnish capital providers. Of course, the market is very strong, very small here, and deal flow is very low compared to other countries, but still, I think it's a big proof that the investors are very active in the area. If you don't believe in the case studies and the stories, this is at least something that really tells you where we are going. The tough part here is that it's a little bit hard to give concrete numbers or like say how much revenue we have in circular economy business, and that's not the point. It's hard to measure, and if you start in that discussion, you're losing focus, I would say. Do we have, how many people representing a company today? Half or a bit more. So maybe we could look at this for a bit. So why would your company get involved in circular economy? I'd say 3 reasons, and the common factor is euros or money. First of all, impact on EBITDA. This is kind of the more known stuff. So you can optimize your business and the material flows and resource efficiency and so on. And this will save money for you. I think the more interesting one is the second one. If you think about it, you can expand a lot of your offering and get into new business and closer to the customers. I think I gave an example on this to get you what I'm thinking, to get you my point. If you think of Valtavalo, so these guys used to sell light bulbs for their business, and these days they're selling luxes or lighting, like said in the video, lighting as a service. So by having done that, if you think about it, they used to maybe, let's pretend that they posted the light bulbs to the client. That was their business. Instead now, they're walking into the office, kind of planning together with the client how much luxes or what kind of light level you need in each part of the office. And suddenly, they're into interior design business. They're into occupational health with the design of the offices. They're into smart buildings. So they really have a whole new portfolio of verticals to work on. So that's what I mean by expanding your offering. And then you start to work a lot with other companies, other players in the area. You get closer to the customer, and that's something that we typically haven't been that good at in Finland. And I think this is a very important and interesting point to take home also. And also these kind of cases like Valtavalo, they attract the investors more and more. We already know the investors are moving away from fossil fuels, and this is the new direction that they're interested in. Very importantly, it's also a branding topic, kind of reputational thing, and the future talents will be happy to come to your company if you can make this kind of shift. How to get started? There is no one answer, I guess, but you know the basics. Assess where you're now, assess the potential, create a roadmap or project charters with the euros and benefits, implement them, follow up, tell the results, do it better next time, and so on. Interesting case was just recently one of the biggest companies in Finland in retail business, top 20 companies in Finland by size. They are looking at all of their business lines and looking at the circular economy potential they have there and where they're at. And I'm really excited to see what comes out of that study or program. Another point of view for the company's perspective is this: you have more of the incremental innovation or more disruptive one, right? And you need both. I guess the point here is that if you wanna go disruption and big, you can't just expect good things. You might have to bite your own arm. You might have to cannibalize your current sales of some products. If you want to shift from selling a product to sell some outcomes or services, it might not be that easy. So I think this is one of the key findings also in the roadmap process from the interviews, that we're a little bit hesitant to go for the new stuff full on. We like to keep the old revenue at the same level, while we secretly all know that actually we should just like invest in the new one and go full on. And we're always not that good at doing that. All right. A few examples of Sitra's circular economy projects. We are working on around 30 projects now together with partners. And here's 4 of them. This one is a really cool example from around here. Scaling up the Finnish industrial symbiosis know-how across Finland. So looking at the eco-science parks in Finland, mapping out their needs and difficulties, and then together kind of disseminating the solution that work for all and developing new ones and so on. Perhaps Kari Poikala from Kemin Digipolis might be here today, so please ask from him more of the sweet details of this one. This is a really, really nice case, and I'm excited to see what comes out. We already mentioned the World Circular Economy Forum held last June in Finland. I could say great success. 1,500 people from over 100 countries, great content, good parties too. There's high demand to continue this forum in the future. And I won't promise anything, but I think I'm able to say that probably next year it will be held outside of Europe, and then next year, 2019, again somewhere else. So it's going to continue for sure. Here's a very small example of what we've done, just working with young companies in the area of circular economy in this Kasvu Open program. The winner was Skipperi. Skipperi is the, let's say, Airbnb for boats from Finland. So peer renting of boats. If you don't use your boat, somebody else can use it. Great team, great idea. A lot of competition though. The other honorary mention was Fluid Intelligence, which is basically oil as a service. Check it out, pretty interesting. And we had a long list of 200 companies, and 15 made it to the finals here. So there's a lot of stuff going on in the grassroots level. One more example, circular economy in education. So this is really something we're proud of at Sitra. So we've worked with schools, high schools, polytechnics, universities to integrate circular economy in the education plans at both like operative and strategic level. And the pilots are ongoing, and for example, for high schools, we're already working with 50 schools right now in the first phase. All right. I think it's time to move to the desserts. So, what next? Well, first of all, I want to say that all of this stuff that goes under the circular economy umbrella has been going on for tens of years already. So I'm not saying it's a totally new thing, but still today, this year, we are quite far already. New technology, digital solutions have brought us a lot further, and we're already seeing really nice results, and the outlook is really promising. I hope that my kind of pitch is that in 2020, the work of companies, government, and other stakeholders will take us there, that we already have a snowball effect going with the scalable solution and business cases here in Finland. And hopefully then that's a time to step out for Sitra. Maybe all the Sitra team is working in startups by then or something. Let's see. Finally, in 2025, Finland would be recognized as a forerunner of circular economy. So we have big business for companies. We have cut emissions by more than a half in various sectors. People come from all the world to look at the kind of forerunner home market, showcase the Finnish market. So this is the ambitious goal we're looking at. And as a kind of ending quote, I like to say, reflecting on Richard Branson's words from the other day, be optimistic, take big risks, and we'll get there. And if we don't, it doesn't matter. Somebody else might get there, and we will not be regretting it the rest of our lives. All right, thanks you very much.